peace to Hank Aaron. You want to talk about Black history? That man recently passed, and he was. It's not a Black history fact, but he was like, I think one of the first big racism firestorms that happened in the WWE is when Hank Aaron realized how fucking racist Bill Watts was and said, "Look,
boy, Bill Watts. Yep,
these facts." He said, "Look, Ted Turner, you got my Atlanta Braves on your TV. You got to get this motherfucker the fuck out of here." But we had the clip. Somebody had posted the audio of the 1991 Bill Watts interview that was with Pro Wrestling Torch with Wade Keller. And I cannot read all of this on here, but what was the one line he said? This is Bill Watts, the guy who was running the WCW at the time when this man became the champion. He said, he came out his mouth on the pod or interview and said, "Who's killed more blacks than anyone? The fucking blacks." This is what he said.
That's right.
But they want to blame that bullshit Roots that came on the air. That Roots was so bullshit.
It was trash.
All you have to do if you want slaves is to hand beads to the chiefs and they gave you slaves.
Let me get 3 monkeys.
What is the best thing that has ever happened to the black race? They were brought to this country. No matter how they got here. You know why? Because they intermarried and got educated.
They ain't pure nigga no more. They pieces of nigga, like The Rock.
He said, if I don't want to sell fried chicken to blacks, I shouldn't have to. It's my restaurant.
I bet you don't sell no chicken.
White motherfuckers do be eating chicken, though.
Fried.
Fried.
Fried chicken drip?
Well, you know what it is. It's not that white people. God, this is a gross generalization, but I don't. It's not that white people are making fried chicken at home. It's that if you look at like Mr. KFC's numbers, white motherfuckers be buying some KFC. I don't buy KFC.
Hold on. This nigga went wild.
Who? Bill Watts.
Bill Watts. You go down to the black countries and they're all broke. Idi Amin killed more blacks than we ever killed. See what I mean? That's how stupid we are. We get all caught up in this BS rhetoric and say it's ridiculous what happened to our country.
That's actual audio. That's actual audio.
That nigga's definitely QAnon.
Is he still alive? Is Bill Watts dead?
I think so.
I hope so.
Is Bill Watts dead? He killed. I will say he killed the WCW for me. No, he's definitely still alive. He's 81 years old.
Well, again, his great idea was that let's take away the mats. Let's not have guys jump off the top turnbuckle. Let's,
Yeah. In a time when Brian Pillman was like one of the rising stars.
He hated Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman was getting paid how much because it was the previous people in charge, and he's like, I want to cut that in half. And Brian Pillman's like, fuck you. You ain't cut my pay in half.
Bitch.
Yeah.
So.
And he said, I'll make you a jobber. And then Brian Pillman's like, I'll be the highest paid jobber ever. Then
we all agree that Bill Watts is a horrible human being.
Correct.
Then the question becomes,
ask it.
How do we feel about him giving the pencil
Booker Man,
egg sucking dogs? You like
egg sucking dogs is funny. I'm sorry.
That was his bar.
That was his thing. Yeah.
To Ernie Ladd, like
Mark Henry would tell you that Ernie Ladd's one of the greatest black pro wrestlers of all time.
Right. So, and I mean, he's a big deal.
This man right here. This man right here would say that.
There you go. No, you can't do that. Cut that out. But the question becomes.
This nigga. I'm sorry. He rethinking his decision. Like, damn, that shouldn't have been. I would have done things different. Yeah. It would have been a different. It would have been a different piece of Never mind. Let me shut up.
Does it make Ernie his number one boy? Or is Ernie Ladd taking a bad rap for progress?
What did you have to look at who came behind Ernie Ladd?
Mm-hmm.
Did he open the door for anybody else?
See, I don't know. I don't know what his booking was. Right?
He was too old. He was too old.
He was the first black booker.
Right.
But that's the key is if nobody came behind him,
then he didn't do what he was supposed to do.
He didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Well, all right. I'm looking at this is funny. I'm looking at his Ladd's pro wrestling career. Shouts out to Nigipedia. They said that Ladd, he went to Mid-South with Bill Watts. He was feuding with a bunch of people. He even feuded with Bad News Brown. But in the early 80s, he said then Ladd assisted Watts as booker behind the scenes and was a large part in making the man Sylvester Ritter, aka JYD, the top draw in that area. So it would sound like he took some shots to help put another black man on.
And that's what I was gonna say, because we talked about this often. It was a weird coincidence. I was listening to a podcast that was talking about Starrcade, and they covered the year that Bill Watts was in charge, and they talked about his exit, and they talked to Dave Meltzer to get his perspective, and he said that what was weird is that, again, Bill Watts saying what he said and being close personal friends for Ernie Ladd while also making Ernie Ladd his booker. So he's like, it didn't make sense really for this guy to say all that. Well, but again, that's racism. That Meltzer was just saying, like, this guy made Ernie Ladd the first black booker in wrestling and went on to say this. And he's like,
so let me explain. It makes perfect sense to me. But no, it's not even that. It's that people that are racist aren't racist against
their friends,
a one-on-one person, not necessarily even their friends.
Right. I feel you.
People that are racist against people. They're racist through ideas and concepts and their actions. But normally,
what he's talking about,
one-on-one situation,
those examples.
That nigger's cool.
Hey man, I talked to a black guy today. Man, he was a cool guy. He did vote for Obama. He was one of those guys, but you know what, man? He loves the Lord. He goes to church. He takes care of all his kids. Little Keywan, little J Mo, all of them. He takes care of all his kids, and it's cool, you know. And he's a really good guy. Like, he's a black guy, but he's not a nigger. You know what I mean?
AJ Styles.
Yes, absolutely. He's talking about almost.
I thought so.
He was talking about almost as a shame.
I couldn't put my finger on it. I knew it
was
funny. Shit.
That's fucking funny. No, that's 100% facts. I feel bad because on the flip side, again, Ernie Ladd he started pro wrestling in the 1960s. Like he's
and that's what Meltzer was saying. Like this, he wrestled at the height of everything that was going on, and Bill Watts. For wrestling, I mean,
I think either way.
Anytime, what was the gimmick? Anytime a black wrestler came to town, it was like, oh shit, they were not happy to see that in the South during that time.
Did anybody else see Davis tiptoeing right there? I enjoyed that.
No,
yeah.
But I
didn't want to say like they were burning crosses and like.
No, niggas say it.
But they were.
And they rode in the bathroom stalls, and they were.
Where you going?
People read my Bianca Belair piece, but I talked to a whole Black Panther this week, and he told me, he said, "Look, I remember they grew up in Michigan." He said, "I remember going to the South and like 7 years old, like his mama telling him, look, nah, that's not the bathroom you use. You have to sit here on the bus." Like mentally, Ernie Ladd been through that, and I think the type of Black people we are on this podcast, we didn't grow up with that.
Right.
Negroes written on the wall, Negroes only in front of the water fountain, all that stuff. Ernie Ladd had a different mentality, more than likely, because he probably had homies that got lynched or had homies that had to go through some wild shit. And it's not excusing anything, but you probably have to move a certain way if you want to be held in a certain regard. And the fact that he was able to, when he had the opportunity to build a star or help build a star in a territory, said, look, this motherfucker, Sylvester, we're going to take him to the moon. We're gonna push this man to the moon. And
you've heard of Elf on the Shelf. I'm sorry.
Don't do that. Don't do that. BlackWrestling.com is the website, as always. Nah, but I mean, yeah, facts. Yeah, good job, Chris. Good job.
Even he went dark. even Grip went dark. Damn.
We're going to end it there.